Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Pumpkin Spice, an all-new take on a classic chai. Robust and seasonal with organic black tea, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and real pumpkin. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below. Go check it out. Guarantee you're going to like it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's up, man? It's Myles Saucedo.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Perfect. Well, I was born in Portland, but now I live in Eugene.
Okay.
So now I stay there. And yeah, it's pretty nice down there.
I think you're one of our first Eugene artists on the show.
Perfect.
That's a native, or at least presently there. So Thanks for making the trip up. I appreciate it.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Yeah. And what got you into music initially? What was the start for you?
Probably just like a lot of other kids. Growing up, I couldn't really express my feelings like that, verbally, but writing it down was way different. So writing things down was kind of the thing that saved me from going a bad way.
Yeah.
I would say, because okay, long story. but my brother, when I was young, he was getting into a lot of bad stuff. So growing up, I saw that and was okay, I can either follow that footstep or learn from it and go a different way. And at the time, my inspiration, really, Logic, he's a rapper. He raps about really kind of the same shit I was going through. His brother was going in and out of jail. He was experiencing things that other kids weren't. And I felt really connected to that. So when he has a song where it's I don't have my words, but my stereo might, I felt that, because I can't speak my feelings really like that.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, and I first heard a beat, and I just started writing and writing. It's just the only way I could really think about making a decent amount of money to make a living for myself, because school was never for me, it was never like that, or I was good.
No, I understand. Yeah. Now, did you ever start writing not musically first? Did you ever just journal or poems or anything like that, or did it all start from a musical stance?
Well, I mean, as a kid, I felt now I understand it as poem and poetry, kind of, sort of. But when I was really young, I used to write these little stories for me and my friends, and we would just name the most outlandish just names for them. And I just feel my whole life I was kind of writing and seeing things through another perspective of anything I saw that I wasn't supposed to do, I should probably stay away from that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then what was one of the first songs you remember hearing? Or what was some of the early music you remember? Before you were into music itself, what was the core music you heard growing up?
Man, I remember hearing Kanye West, man, for the first time in the car. And so it was a College Dropout CD, and my dad just got it. And I swear he played that shit till it was you can't even play it no more. So anytime I heard like just the beat and just the lyricist that was coming from him, I was like, what even is this?
Yeah.
Like, this is new to me.
Damn.
And then like from then I started asking questions about like what kind of music that was.
Mm-hmm.
So then obviously like Tupac, like all the greats just start coming at me. But like mostly was like 90s, like 80s, like hip hop.
Hell yeah.
And then,
man, I can't imagine College Dropout being like an early sound to experience. That's got to be something else.
It was crazy. Like especially like when 808s and Heartbreaks dropped. That changed the music scene for like everything. Like after that, music was
it definitely did a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then for this next question, this is one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. But what was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Shoot. So, fun fact, I collect vinyl records, and I have like hundreds of fucking records. But the first one I bought was it was by myself. I was at a Target and I saw it. It was all blue with a bright like white E on it. So I was like, what is that? I look over, I grab it, and it was Elton John's Greatest Hits. Hands down one of the best fucking records I've ever heard.
Hell yeah.
Like just straight off the look of the album. It was just a sleek blue. And I heard a couple songs, but like once I started getting more into Elton John, crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, incredible musician. And so many other things, like just a person who has achieved a lot in life.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting that you would point out the attention grabbingness of the album, like that, like how like, because it sounds like it was a very simple design,
right?
But it was just so loud, like it was so big, and that's so indicative of his personality.
Yes, it's like seeing a bunch of like white cars, and then there's that one red car. It was that one red car. I saw it. Like all the other albums were just like pictures, so I was like, that's cool. And then I just saw the sleekness of it. It just it looked professional. I was like, okay.
Hell yeah.
So
hell yeah. And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to? That was like one you wanted to go to.
That I wanted to go to.
Yeah. So you were like, there was a show happening, you saw it, you were like, I want to go to this, you made it happen.
Probably really on my own. It was kind of later on, but me and my girlfriend, we literally drove like, I think it was 7.5 hours to see this band called Los Lonely Boys. They are like definitely like probably one of the best bands I think ever.
Oh yeah.
They're 3 brothers from Texas that are just flat out amazing. Like crazy amazing. Like just when it comes to lyrics, when it comes to the like music, just the pure talent of these guys. It's not only did it blow my mind, but they looked like me too. You know?
Yeah.
Like I've never seen like a Hispanic person like on the big stage playing the guitar just as great as the greats that I'm seeing everywhere else. It didn't happen to me. But once my uncle's really the one that showed me them. My uncle Larry. But yeah, he's the one that showed me and my brother Los Lonely Boys. And that's probably the first show that like we bought and we just like full on just like sent it to California, slept in the car for the night, just had a whole like little experience for that. It was cool.
Oh yeah. That sounds like a really powerful moment.
Yeah, dude, it was amazing. Like I'm really spontaneous like that. I don't know if she likes that all the time, but yeah.
Well, damn. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right, now we've got one last question to go before we move into the middle part.
Perfect.
And this one, it's kind of a denser question.
Okay.
But do you have a defining moment where like music like became a more serious thing, where it wasn't just like a thing to do anymore?
Oh yeah. So it's kind of 2 parts. The first part where I felt like this is what I need to do is I dropped out of high school my junior year. So I could help provide for me and my family at the time because my parents just recently got a divorce. So me and my mom were trying to figure that shit out. So I had to drop out. And then once I did that, I have no other choice. It's either music or the highway. And
yeah,
I'm choosing music 100% of the time, you know?
oh yeah.
But there's that one. And then the second one that really like, it gave me that feeling like on the stage is when I was performing one of my new songs and the crowd started singing my lyrics back to me. And like my girlfriend got like a recording of me and like the look on my face was like, whoa, like that's something I saw in like a video and it's happening. And even though it might be like 12, 15, 20 people saying it, that's
still a moment.
That's people that I didn't even think would care to do that.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
It's cool.
Awesome. Now let's go ahead and let's move on into you in the current day. Okay. And I feel like this is going to be a very easy answer, but we ask everybody, how did you pick your name? Well,
I picked my name, Myles Saucedo, from the birth name that I was given, that my mom gave me, which is Myles Saucedo. So it's a bit simple.
Yep. I love it whenever people are like, I didn't pick it. My parents did.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good one. What made you go with your name versus a stage name?
Well, it really all goes back to my idol, Logic. Mm-hmm. So I saw an interview that he did where he was talking about how one of his idols, Kid Cudi, when he first met him, he didn't go, oh, hey, my name's Kid Cudi. Nice to meet you and all that. He goes, hey, my name is, and he said his real name to him. Mm-hmm. So from then on, Logic's like, I'm not going to introduce myself as my stage name, which some people might like, but I'm going to introduce myself as me. I want people to know that everything that I'm doing is me as a person, not just the name. Yeah. So me picking my name as like my original name, I want everybody to know, especially for my family in the future, that name is going to be, I don't know, it's hard to word, and that name is going to be remembered. Yeah. And I need it to be remembered. Oh, yeah. Because my family has not been known for being like in a hierarchy place. My whole family is just struggling. My whole goal really starting music up, besides sharing my feelings, was to help my family get to a better place. Because seeing it struggle for so long, it's like the only thing you want to do is help yourself and your family.
No, totally. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a really powerful answer. All right, now let's go ahead and get on into your writing process. And we're going to kind of break it into parts, but we're going to start right at the beginning. So when you get inspired, so you're ready to make music, you're like, all right, I'm going to sit down in my spot, or I'm going to go in and do this. What do you usually do to get a song started?
Well, my writing process is a little weird, I think, because like if I hear a beat, I could honestly tell if I'm going to fuck with it in like the first 5 to 6 seconds. Mm-hmm. Like if I hear a beat, I always say it kind of like this, like who am I to kind of fight a beat? Mm-hmm. I'd rather work with a beat and kind of ride it like a wave. Mm-hmm. Like the beat is like the wave and I'm the surfer just riding along with it, not trying to fight against it. So if I'm hearing a beat, I'm trying to basically write a song that's already there in my head, basically. It doesn't make sense, but to me it makes a lot of sense. No, totally. So when I'm writing, it's really like if a certain melody is hitting away, I'm going to try to get a word that's going to fit in that melody that certain way. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And then once you finish a track, so you got everything laid down, you're ready to go and, practice it and whatnot. How long does it take you to get comfortable performing it?
Shoot. I mean, I'm still not too comfortable performing my songs like that because it's still new. I mean, it's not too new, but it's still newer. Yeah. But I mean, I'm like my biggest critic. I hate on myself a lot, but I need to do that in order to make the best craft that I can. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't see it as a good song, there's no use of me putting it out. So like me making a song, that's me kind of validating to myself that I'm ready to perform that and put it out and see it just what it does.
So will you not perform a song until after you've released it? Or have you performed, or do you perform songs that aren't out yet?
I've definitely performed songs that aren't out, but it really depends on my mood and the show. Mm-hmm. Because if I notice like mid-show that a crowd is starting to move to like more like upbeat songs, I might change a song for another one to make it a little bit more upbeat.
Okay.
But I mean, usually most of the time I'm just there to have a good time.
Yeah, totally. And then to round out the process focus, how has your process changed in the last year?
A lot. I went from like writing maybe like 20 songs every like week, mm-hmm. maybe week and a half, to like now I maybe write a song a month, mm-hmm. a song every like month and a half, because I'd rather take my time on something than to try to rush it and make so much of something that I don't like. Yeah. I can't even listen to myself.
Interesting.
So it's like, yes, I hear a lot of artists saying, oh, I got 100 songs. I got all these songs that I got sitting on. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. That's cool. And I'm all to you. But for me, I'd rather have basically like quality over quantity.
Yeah.
You know,
and I mean, I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with either process, but I think for some people, they're able to focus on a million things at once and finish a million things at one time.
Right.
Other people, their strength comes from working with the one thing, kind of chiseling, looking at like a solid slab of marble,
right,
that you're chiseling away at bit by bit, versus building a million things from the ground up.
Exactly.
And, they're still both works of art in the end.
Exactly. See, like I don't hate on like nobody on how they like write, like by all means, but
yeah, no, the end goal is still, or the outcome is still the same.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Like I got my homie, shout out Chief Gray. He can write shit just on the spot. Mm-hmm. Like his lyricism is crazy.
Yeah,
like he's really the first Eugene artist that like got me into the Eugene scene, mm-hmm. and pushed me to start writing a little bit more. Like better than what I already was, because it was intimidating. Mm-hmm. It was like you're going into a new place that you're not aware of all the artists and who's around and who's in and who's not.
Yeah.
So hearing like new artists and like the impact that they got is scary. It's like, as an artist, it's like you're friends with everybody, yes, but at the same time, they're still your not a competition, but like the people you have to. Kind of like that worry of like, man, what if I wrote that?
Yeah.
What if I did that? And that's something that I'm really trying to work on not doing and staying away,
That's an interesting one, because I think one way you could look at it is that they will write something that you're like, man, what if I had, but also you're going to write a bunch of things that they'll never write. Like
that's true. And that's like an amazing way to think about it.
Yeah. You're going to create so many things that only you can create.
Right.
So if you put a lot of trust in your process, over time, it's going to turn into something that's only going to create things that you're going to be happy with because you created them. But you can't spend a lot of time focusing on what anybody else does, because they're not focusing on what you're doing.
Exactly.
They're focusing on what they're doing.
See, that's literally like some of my biggest issues that I work on is myself, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's a real thing, and that's something I like to write about in my music too, is like self-awareness. I know I'm in my head, I'm like fucked up, but I'm working on it every single day.
No, totally. And I mean, I think even finding the fact that you're able to acknowledge how music allows you to access that part of you, that's important. Like that's powerful that you were able to find that as early as you did. And I think that's something that's only going to help you grow both as a person and with your music moving forward.
All right. I appreciate that too. Yeah. And it's like when I'm writing, it's a lot of either what I see, because I like to call myself a story writer.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of like rappers like writing about the real shit and all that. That's perfectly fine. But as like a writer, I want to write something that has someone thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like write something that's so articulate to where it's like, even if it reaches one person and it hits them like a fucking brick, I'm satisfied with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's one other person that feels like I did, like I literally got Logic's name tattooed on my hand. That's how close that music got me.
Yeah.
If I could do that to someone else, that's all I could ask for.
You know, it's funny. I'm going to touch on 2 points that you said because when I was listening to your music earlier, I was checking out your most recent album, Heart of My City. And that was one thing I noticed, is that your music is very articulate. That there's a lot of definition in your words and the way that you say them and how it's presented. But it's funny that you said you consider yourself a storyteller, because that's my favorite thing about earlier Logic work, is that like, you know, like I believe it's The Greatest Story Ever Told. Or I might be saying the album name wrong, but it's
Incredible True Story.
Incredibly True Story.
Yes,
Sorry, yes,
sir.
thank you. That,
sir.
Even though I can't remember the name of it, I covered that album so many times, because it just, the narration, the cut scenes in it, the fact that they got the voice actor for Cowboy Bebop, for Spike of Cowboy Bebop to do the narration in it,
and they got Neil deGrasse Tyson in that too.
Yeah, it was such an experience. It was a journey within an album.
It literally was the first album I've heard that was just a full album on just space. You're just vibing in a whole other, just like visual of what could be.
Yeah,
it's literally just what could be. And it's amazing.
It is a phenomenal concept album in so many ways, and it's really enjoyable. So I appreciate that you would compare yourself in that way for being somebody who appreciates Logic, because that's a big comparison word. I like descriptive word I like to use for him as well.
Right, dude. Logic is like the holy grail to me, dude. Like meeting him would be like, dude. Like,
well, hey, he's a person. He's accessible. There's always opportunities.
Dude, I actually was supposed to meet him in Portland like last week in this fan expo thing, but since with the weather and the snow, he had to cancel, and I was heartbroken.
Damn.
But
he'll be back.
Yeah, God has a plan. I'll meet him when the time's right.
Hell yeah. And now let's go ahead and let's talk about your current sound. So,
Hell yeah. Okay.
So the last album that you put out came out in 22.
Yeah.
And we're in 24 now. Like, we're starting that off. So I imagine there's probably a little bit of a difference from that to now. But what is it about your current sound that you enjoy? What are some cool like traits and attributes that are like things that really bring you to it?
So my current sound, something that I enjoy about it, is I'm sounding a lot more like me in a sense. Well, to me, like my early music, like Heart of My City, that was me trying to introduce that myself in, like, yes, I can rap. Yes, I want to be a rapper. But I felt like I was trying to prove myself too much. Yeah. Instead of just trying to be myself.
You know, I could tell there were moments in it where like some of the points were just concise.
Right.
But like the approach was there. And then some of the songs like Depression and Save Me, Hate Me.
Yeah.
There was much more of a purpose in the songs. Exactly. And that like really latched on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely in this new EP that I'm going to be working on, you'll see a lot of Heart of My City in it.
Like, well, it's still you.
Right. Yeah. But this new sound I'm working on is crazy. Like I've always been nervous to sing, and especially in front of people.
Same.
But this album, I'm letting it out.
Hell yeah.
Like anything that I've seen, like from my mom, like this last song that I just wrote, like I really was trying to like look into an aspect of like, I like to call it like a moment. Like there's always that moment in a show, in anything that you do, there's that moment. And like in any show that I want to do, I want this song to be that moment. Like it has this like constant like beat where it's like dum, dum, dum. And in that part, I want people to just clap. Like if I hear that clapping, that's a moment. For like a little kid to be at that show clapping, looking around and seeing everybody have a good time, that's that moment. And writing for that moment in the process is super hard. But once you get where you want to go with the song, it's a lot easier to kind of find yourself in, if that makes sense.
No, totally.
Because I've never been able to really express myself like that, or express what I see, Yeah. So like this new music that I'm doing it's gonna be cool.
That's exciting, and it sounds like you have an emphasis on listener response.
See, that's something that anybody that's been to any of my shows, or hopefully go to my show, if you see it, Myles Saucedo, go to it. It'll be a good show. But anytime I perform, the biggest thing that I hear from feedback is my crowd control. And that's something that I've learned watching some of the greatest people live. There's some of the best shows, you have to have crowd control. I
mean, I think any good show is going to have some kind of crowd interaction for sure. I mean, it's just, it's part of the experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to, everybody there to feel like they're special. Like they're wanted at that show. I don't want it to feel like I'm some conceited asshole that's like, oh, all you guys are here for me, all this. No, I wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be doing this stuff if it wasn't for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, so totally. It's like there's always something that I'm going to keep deep within myself, and I promise, as long as you know me and anybody else knows me, that I'm going to keep to myself, humble, keeping my grind. And that's it. Anytime you see me, I'm always down to say hi, take pictures. I'm just a normal guy, really, at the end of the day.
Oh yeah. And then before we move on to the next segment, this last question, this is kind of a what to look forward to. But what are your goals? What are your plans? What do you want to come from this?
Really, like I said earlier, it's for my family.
Well, that's more, I mean, what would the ideal outcome be for you?
So the ideal outcome for me would probably getting my mom a house and being able to just perform and do music freely. Because as long as I have music and someone to listen, that's all that matters, Oh
yeah.
Because I mean, of course, I want to be doing shows, the biggest shows I possibly can.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, I got to remember where I come from, and remember the people that actually showed up on a fucking Wednesday.
Yeah. And, I know that one.
Yeah, it's like getting people to even show up is hard enough. So the people that do show up that you've never seen before, I'm going to rock that shit out as hard as I can just for you. So you might come back or tell your friend, And that's something I feel like every artist, any upcoming artist should do, is put your heart on that stage, because you never know if that's your last. Honestly, no day is promised to any man or woman. So, if you got dreams, chase that shit for real.
Oh yeah. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Perfect.
And for these ones, literally, sky's the limits. They're all made up, and the answers are too.
Okay, cool.
This first one. If you could work with anybody, I mean anybody, the only requirement is they have to be alive, who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Dude, that's the hardest question I've heard. And it only can be one person?
Yep.
I'd have to say Dr. Dre, because he probably could benefit me the most just by teaching me the ways of a beat. and understanding music as a whole.
So you'd want him to teach you how to produce music.
Right. And like everything that he knows about the craft, like really hip hop popped off from the group that he made.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like the beats that we listen to over and over again, decades after it was made, was from him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's really, that's why Dr. Dre he's the king.
Hell yeah. No, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Oh, man.
And you know, just because you're mainly based in Eugene, if you have a Eugene one and a Portland one, just because this is mainly focused up here,
Okay,
you could say
perfect.
We'll bridge that gap.
All right. Eugene artists I'd like to work with is a fellow native. His name's Savell the Native.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's popping off on a lot of places right now. Like I know he just did a show with 2 Chainz, opening up for 2 Chainz.
Oh shit, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy for like our people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's big. And then a Portland artist I'd like to work with. She just blew up like crazy is Win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's crazy. So
her name comes up a lot on this show.
Yeah, she just put Portland on the map like that, you know what I'm saying? And she's that new top female artist, and there needs to be a new male artist, top male artist on Portland, so I want to be that person.
Yeah, that'd be exciting for sure.
Yeah.
And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue, where would you want to perform?
Shoot. I was just talking about this with my family in the car. I don't know why, but I just feel like it'd be a really dope ass vibe if I had like a show, you know, like the Egyptian pyramids.
Inside or outside?
Inside.
Ooh.
Yeah, because imagine how sick that would be. You're just partying kind of like...
As long as you got past the booby traps.
Yeah.
But in this hypothetical situation, you would have.
In this situation.
Yeah, they would have been
got past
detrapped.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be amazing. Could you just imagine?
The energy would be wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to worry about no rain.
Nope.
You're in the desert. Man. And by this hypothetical lineup, what are we talking about?
I mean, it could be anybody. Who would you want the lineup to be?
My lordy.
Okay. We'll say you and 2 other artists.
As like headline?
I mean, you could pick the order even.
Okay, well, me first, because I know my place right now. I'd go first. And then second, I'd have to do Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh yeah.
He is a very controversial like artist, I guess. I love him because like he's genuinely just himself, but the shows that he puts on like huge. Just like the magnitude that you get from his stage presence is unbelievable. So I think him going after me would be fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And then to top it all off, I feel like Kanye West. Yeah, if Kanye just finished it off, just playing all of his hits, being him, just mask on, just hitting buttons, doing his shit.
Oh yeah,
it'd just pop it off.
That would be a wild show for sure.
It'd be amazing.
Oh yeah. And then for this last hypothetical question, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have just put out an album yesterday, could have not put out an album in 100 years. Who would you want an album from?
An album. I feel like there's a lot of young cats that passed away too early that I feel like everybody needed another album, but the one that sticks and still hurts has to be X. Any like a genuine album that he approved all the songs, he put it in order just like he did the first 2. I feel like music would be a whole lot different if he was still around.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good answer.
Right, because it's like you think about some of the best music and best times you had. It was that 2016, 2018 era. That whole like movement they had was, you can't top it.
Yeah,
it's like I haven't heard of something like that since fucking Tupac, Biggie, and all of them were coming out like that. Not comparing them to him, but like for real, like they made a change in music that won't ever be forgotten. But an album from him would, like, come on,
Yeah.
No,
that's a great answer.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up.
All right.
Why don't you tell us what we can look forward to, say, the first half of 2024?
First half of 2024 that you can look up to is I'm working on this brand new EP. It's going to be coming out pretty soon, I hope. I got to figure all that stuff out, but yeah, I got that. I got shows, so if you hear about any show in Portland or Eugene that has my name, pop out and say hi. And that's about it. Any promoter that's out there that needs an artist for a show, I'm always available. Any artist that wants to make music, I'm always available. Just hit me up.
Oh, yeah. And then for this next one, go ahead and look at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on all platforms, Myles Saucedo. My Instagram is just myles.saucedo, myles.saucedo. And if you want to give me a follow, be much appreciated.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Man, if I had time, let's see. Chief Gray, Quarter K, the homies from THC, they put me on to some shows. I really appreciate y'all. Let's see, I don't want to leave anybody out. I know my homie Luca, he's hard. And then let's see, from Portland, Echo the Savage. He's the one that got me started up with Heart of My City. He really helped me with finding out the music business and how everything works.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to him. Shout out to Friends of Noise. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they helped me throughout the journey, so I can't forget them. And then I'd like to thank my family and my girlfriend. They're really the people that are there when you guys aren't seeing me like this, when I'm at my lowest. So thank you to them.
Hell yeah. All right, now we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Okay, perfect.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. But with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation.
Okay.
But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side, so not a lot of people know it, but it's one you think everybody should know?
Oh, hands down, the self-titled Los Only Boys album.
Oh, yeah.
Top to bottom, gorgeous. Like, the music, the writing, everything about it. The guitarist, like an Italian would say, fucking chef's touch or wee whatever the fuck they say. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they said all of that. That was perfect.
Yeah, but
hell yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, we're going to get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Shout out anybody that I forgot. I hope I didn't forget anybody, but yeah, thank you for having me. This was a great time.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. I'm Jimmy.
And this is Myles.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.